Hello and welcome to Sideways. It's very windy this morning, so it's quite possible that you won't hear any of this. But anyway, if you're new into recovery, there are certain situations and triggers that are more likely than others to have you reaching for your drug of choice again, leading you straight to relapse. And in our little series on revisiting some of the basics, that's what we're focusing on this week. We check in on how I'm doing with my Lent-based abstinence, find joy in amusing news headlines past and present. There's surprising news about the behaviour of an overly aggressive octopus. And Martin recalls the time he went zorbing and why he doesn't want to do it again. Causes of relapse.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. Happy Mother's Day.
It is Mother's Day, yes, thank you. And happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you very much. I don't think we should be left out, should we?
We shouldn't be left out because, well, we haven't got any mothers left between us, have we?
We're motherless, aren't we?
We're orphans.
Yeah, that's right, because we haven't got fathers either.
No, exactly.
Oh,
yes.
So started off on a bit of a downer, hasn't it?
It's really, yes. Perhaps we can bring it back up a little bit in a minute. What do you think?
Yeah, we'll give it a go, shall we?
We can give it a try. Yeah. So anyway, you're good apart from that then?
I'm fine apart from being parentless.
Yeah, me too. Mm-hmm. Me too. We've got over that to a certain extent, haven't we?
To an extent. Do you ever get over it? Doesn't your life just sort of reforms around it, doesn't it?
I think we discussed that. I think you were quite vociferous in the not in the protection of, no, against the word closure being used, because we don't ever get closure. And I think that's probably an appropriate time now. We don't get closure on that, do we? No. We grow around it and adjust accordingly, don't we?
Exactly.
Anyway, this episode today, it's carrying on from our last couple of episodes, really. You know, we've been going sort of back to basics, if you like, haven't we?
Yeah.
And so, this episode, it leads quite nicely on from the last week's one.
Well, I think we'll be the judge of that.
Oh, well, who will be?
Well, the audience, won't they?
Yeah, well, okay. Because what I've done, I've thought back across the many meetings I've been in, the hundreds, almost probably thousands of meetings I've been involved in over the years.
Yeah.
And looked at the reasons that people have given as to why they've relapsed. After
I bet there's going to be some honeys in here, aren't there?
Well, no, this is not a stick to beat people with. Far from it. They're sort of cautionary tales rather than guidelines. But but hopefully by acknowledging the triggers, they can be successfully navigated. So
excellent.
They're all fairly straightforward, really. But it'd be nice to have your input on them. But before we start, how's Lent going for you?
Yeah, it's going fine. As you know, I'm not eating biscuits, cakes, or chocolate, or sweets.
Or sweets.
Nothing.
Okay.
And it's going quite well, actually, although I was a little bit disturbed earlier this week when I realised I was only halfway through.
You're starting to white knuckle it a bit.
But it wasn't that so much. It was also, I have this little ritual when I come back with the dogs at lunchtime, a cup of tea, and give them a bit of digestive biscuit.
Okay.
And I usually have a bit of digestive biscuit. I can't have that at the moment. So
the dogs get more.
Well, yeah, you know what it's like. It's just it's probably a slightly flippant comparison, but if you're in recovery, best not to have alcohol in the house. So it'd be best for me not to have digestive biscuits in the house.
So if there's one thing you've learned over the last 3 years of doing this, this podcast, that's the core.
Wisdom of that. The wisdom of that has struck me. I'll tell you the other thing that's going to be, the thing on the horizon that's potentially going to give me trouble with Lent is that it's my son's birthday next week. And I'll have to make him a cake, a piece of which I won't be able to eat.
No.
So that's going to be quite a struggle.
So how long, you can't save a bit, how long's Lent to go?
It's got another 3 weeks, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. What I thought I might do is make him a really shit cake.
Yeah.
But I won't be bothered about eating. That might be a little bit selfish though, mightn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't really embrace celebration, does it?
Not really. Why did you ask me about Lent then? Have you got something to tell me about Lent?
No,
you were just inquiring.
I was just inquiring, really.
Oh, okay. I'm still kind of you.
Well, thank you. I'm on lager Lent, that's for sure. And this is my 12th lager Lent in a row.
Well, we talked about this, didn't we, the other day when you came round for dinner, that you essentially we were asking you what you'd given up for Lent, and you said nothing. And then I pointed out to you that you'd actually given something up for more than a decade. Which puts 6 weeks into, to some sort of context.
It does. Thank you for bringing that up. And on that point, really, do you remember we were talking last week about meetings on cruise ships and that, AA meetings and that, and I couldn't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
Well, luckily, Justin, one of our listeners, has said, "Oh yeah, it's called." He said Friends of Bob.
Friends of Bob.
Friends of Bob, yeah, which is a nod in the direction of Bob Smith, one of the founders of AA.
Ah.
But there's also Friends of Bill as well, for acknowledging the other chap.
So I was thinking about this the other day after you mentioned it, and I wonder if you're on a cruise. I've never been on a cruise myself. I know you have.
I have, yeah.
If you're on a cruise and you saw on the list of activities, Friends of Bob, 7:15, right?
Yeah.
What happens if you go along just out of curiosity? You think, oh, that's interesting. I think I'll go along to that. And you have no history of alcohol dependence.
Well, I think I'm sure you'd be very welcome in there, and then you probably make the decision, this is probably not for me, and go back to the bar.
You'd be waiting for the quiz to start, the bingo or something. There'd just be a load of people sitting around talking about their history of drink.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've got a before we start for you this week.
Go on then.
It's a little gift for you, actually.
Oh, okay.
I know how much you enjoy an amusing headline.
Oh, I do, yes.
I was looking through some of my notebooks. It was an online notebook, but I was looking through my files and I found this thing that I saved a while ago. I thought I was going to write a piece on it, and maybe I will at some point. But the headline is this: Bristol piano man quits playing after being punched in the head. It immediately made me think of you. And it's actually a story about a guy some years ago, in 2017, I think it was. This pianist guy, his girlfriend had broken up with him, and he dragged his upright piano onto College Green in Bristol and said he was going to keep playing until she took him back. Until somebody punched him in the head and he gave up.
It wasn't his ex that punched him. The passerby got fed up.
I don't think it was, but you could have forgiven her for punching him, because that is not a romantic gesture. If anything, it's creepy and manipulative.
Yeah, it's the last thing you want, isn't it?
It is really. I mean, no means no, isn't it?
And that's all you need. You can leave it there, can't you?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it made for an amusing headline, but that's about as far as it goes.
It does. I used to collect headlines as a kid, as you remember. And wish I could have my notebook. Wish I had that still to hand with all the headlines I found.
You could start again now, couldn't you?
Yeah, could start to compile them.
Yeah,
and that could go straight in. That could be the first entry.
You could actually, if you thought about that some years ago, the sort of collection of headlines, you could have probably made quite a lot of money, because you could have created a Panini sticker book with headlines. You'd have had like-minded individuals going down the shop, buying a pack of stickers, to see what headlines they got in there. And the ultimate would be Freddie Starr ate my hamster, or Hitler found on Mars, or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that what was that paper? Daily Star? No. The Sport.
The Sunday Sport.
Sunday Sport. And because they had headlines like all the time, obviously I just made them up, which were good. I think that lost a bit of value. I think that created in the whole headline business, because they were clearly made up and there wasn't a serious message behind them.
Well, you could say they lost value, but I still maintain that one of my favourite headlines of all time was a made-up one, which was "Pensioner felled by Keep Left Bollard," which you made up.
I did make it up just to make people laugh, and it did for many years. Anyway, yes, we'll move on. We could actually. I have got a couple of other things for before we start, but I think perhaps we'll leave those then. Otherwise,
really?
We'll extend the episode too long, won't we?
Well, I was hoping you might have something else on the subject of animals.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah, all right, yeah.
Give us that, because I've got something on the subject of animals as well.
Okay, yeah. Well, there's this guy called Tom Harrison.
Yeah.
And he's currently practicing to run the London Marathon backwards.
Right.
Okay, now, I thought initially practicing to start at the finish line and run towards the start, but he's actually physically running backwards, and he's decided that he's going to start at the back to avoid crashes. I mean, if you're running backwards, you're probably, wherever you start, you're going to end up drifting. You'll end up at the back anyway, won't you? You can't run backwards as far as you can forwards. But he's the same guy that crawled the marathon dressed as a gorilla.
Right.
So there's the animal theme. How about that?
There it is.
I had to
Excellent.
shoehorn that in at short notice there, but I think that works.
It does work. So you said, but your first thought was he was intending to run from the finish line back to the start. Well, that wouldn't work, would it? Because he'd be going against the traffic all the time, wouldn't he?
He would, but I thought he's trying to promote his particular cause.
All
that he's
right.
running
What is it?
for. Well, the idea of running backwards, apparently, looking over his shoulders, is looking over our shoulders towards Ukraine. So,
right.
So yeah, it wouldn't.
Have you been looking over your shoulder towards Ukraine?
I have. I think all of us have to a certain extent, haven't we?
What, metaphorically?
Metaphorically,
You haven't literally been looking over your shoulder, have you?
No, I don't know which direction it is
I was
in.
going to say, because looking over your shoulder would probably be more sort of Aylesford, wouldn't it?
That's which way I turn round, doesn't it? That's what I'd have to get the compass out and find out which way I've got to be 180 degrees to Ukraine, haven't I? So I can look over my shoulder.
Yeah, we'll see if you can work that out for next week. So just on the subject then of animals, I thought you'd enjoy this little story that I saw on the BBC website, which is that researchers have found out that octopuses like to punch fish just out of spite.
Out of spite?
Yeah. There's no reason for them doing it. They reckon they've concluded that it's probably just to assert their authority and keep fish in their place. And the best thing is, you go search for it. The best thing is that on the BBC website, there's a little video of an octopus punching a fish.
I think that's a great story. That'd make it quite a good headline as well, wouldn't it? You can make one up out of that.
Punches fish.
Yeah. For fun.
There's two headlines I got this morning, both about punching.
It is. If that octopus had punched that geezer in Bristol, that would have brought them two into alignment, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you don't want to take an octopus on, do you? Because you've got 8 fists.
Yeah, a little boxing glove on the end of each tentacle. Boom, boom, boom. You'd be a terrible mess, wouldn't you?
Anyway, shall we get on with it?
Shall we? Yeah, I think we've started to drift quite badly there, haven't we? Okay, yeah, reasons people have stated quite regularly as to why they've picked up other drinkable drugs when they've done the work of detoxing or whatever, done rehab, and then suddenly things happen.
Yeah.
And it is in no particular order of importance or regularity particularly, but the ones I thought, as I was just thinking of them, I jotted them down. So
can I ask you a question before you start
you
on your reasons?
Okay.
It's probably an unfair question to ask you, but in your sort of, just from your own personal experience, and maybe you're going to cover this, do you think there are certain points in someone's recovery where they become more likely to relapse?
Yes.
So like a first year anniversary, I think I'll celebrate with a lager.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
are you going to cover that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is. It's on my list. Yes. In no particular order, as I say, stopping going to meetings. That comes up regularly. We suddenly see someone after a long time, haven't seen them for a while, and they've stopped going to meetings, and they've pinpointed that as the issue. Or sometimes people will continue to attend meetings, but don't participate. And almost like a box ticking exercise, or they leave the meetings early, just so they've sort of ticked it off and they've gone away. So they haven't really been invested in their recovery, and they end up lapsing.
So, question then on this. I mean, you might not be typical. I mean, maybe you are typical. Maybe the majority of people are like you, but you enjoy meetings, don't you?
I do, yeah.
And you've always enjoyed them. And it's always struck me that, there's always, wherever you've been in your recovery, you've got something from going to meetings.
Absolutely right.
At the start, I imagine the thing that you got most of all was the guidance from other members.
Yep.
And I know that now one of the things you get is being able to guide people who are earlier in their recovery.
Yep.
But there must be people who come to meetings that don't really like meetings.
That's right.
And want to stop going as soon as they possibly can.
Yes, see that all the time, especially if they come under a court order.
We've talked about that before.
We have, yeah. That happens. Or people don't feel very anxious in groups.
Right, so the anxiety thing I get.
Yeah.
But do you think if people come to meetings and they're not really enjoying them, do you think that tends to be because they're not getting involved and engaging, or do you think, as we've discussed before, some people take to 12-step recovery programs and other people don't? Sometimes is it about finding the right group for you, or what do you think it's sort of about?
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, it's certainly amongst the fellowships where you've got a plethora of choices of, AA or CA or NA, and each individual meeting can have a different vibe to it and run by different people. So yeah, you can search around for quite some time before you find one that suits you.
Right. If there is a correlation between stopping going to meetings and lapsing,
Yep.
then if you are in that position, probably the first thing you should think about is finding a different meeting rather than stopping going to the one that you're going to.
I agree entirely. A bit like finding the right therapist.
Exactly. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dovetails in nicely, doesn't it? Okay, I better move on these. Otherwise, this I've got quite a list here. It's going to take forever.
Oh, well, do hurry up then, because I don't want you to take forever. I haven't got forever.
The second one is thinking that detox or rehab is a magic bullet. Okay, so people have done that, come out, and have lapsed pretty quickly because they've put no extra work in. And that's often can be the people that are around them that think that on their behalf almost by proxy. They think you go to rehab, you come out, you're cured. That's it.
Right. So this is similar. I suppose this is similar to the people who might go into therapy looking for their therapist to fix them.
Yes.
Which of course is not what happens. You know, you have to do the work, and if you're not prepared to do the work, it's unlikely that you're going to get much benefit from it. I can remember a therapist friend of mine once said to me, Graham, if you ever finish a session more exhausted than your client, something's gone wrong. And that is an illustration of the importance of the other person doing the work, which is the same in recovery, isn't it? You've got to get really involved in your own recovery.
Yeah, you have to invest properly. Yeah, you're right. But leading on from that point about not stopping going to meetings is where people start to isolate again. And again, people have found that when they've come back after relapse, and you say, if I start to isolate, they've gone back into to that reclusive shell, which perhaps was part of the issue in the first place.
What do you do when you see someone doing that? Is there much you can do you feel?
Well, again, you can't drag people into recovery or keep them there, but you can certainly check up on them and you can see if they're okay. And we start to worry about people we haven't seen them for a while. It's natural. So, yeah, and sometimes there's very valid reasons, and other times it is because you can see them drifting mentally towards a relapse. So you've got to be careful on that one. And bottling up emotions is another one which people have quoted, where they've got used to sometimes coming to meetings and sharing.
Yeah.
And we all know how liberating and cathartic that can be. And then suddenly they start bottling them up again. What do you think
it is that, do you have any kind of sense of what it is that might create that shift in someone where they've been seeing the benefit of opening up about how they're feeling and then for some reason they decide to stop?
It's often in conjunction with other issues that come on, perhaps other emotional, mental health issues, or a change in, I know we bang on about this a lot, but change in relationship status. And they suddenly have got other outlets perhaps for it, or they've started to close those curtains again. There's something that's happened that's made them feel unworthy again, where they've started to do work on that.
Do you feel in group you can challenge that in people? So, you know, would someone say, you're pretty quiet these days. You used to talk quite a lot about how you're feeling, but you don't seem to share much anymore. Does that happen?
It does, yeah. Does
it make a difference to people, do you think?
I think sometimes people need to be invited to speak. Yeah, sometimes again, that anxiety, which I'm quite careful when I'm facilitating. I always give the opportunity for people not to speak, but then I'll ask them to, sort of thing. And it's surprising when you do invite someone into the forum to speak, the floodgates can open sometimes. So it's just unbottling it sometimes. The cork's in there, if I can use that analogy.
Yeah, well, it's both appropriate and inappropriate, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So if it's just sort of sitting there gently, you just need to just pop it off, and away you go, and then the emotions can come out, or the share can come out. But I think one of the biggest ones, and we talk about it often, is complacency. So drifting back into old habits, start visiting dangerous places again, like pubs or crack houses, I think, or something like that. No, that's what people do for a bit. I think, I'll be all right in a crack house again now. Honestly, I only ever heard it once, but really in my very early days, this guy came in and said, well, I wanted to go back to see my old mates. Yeah, I know. And he went back, he was a crack user, he was in recovery, and he used to go sit in the crack house just to see his old mates, which we knew that probably wasn't quite the truth of why he was going there, but he said that was a reason why he initially relapsed, and he was going to try not to do it again.
So do you think that's naivety, or do you think is that an indication of someone getting to the point where actually they've lost interest in their recovery?
Probably never embraced it properly in the first place, I'd say, in that case. Certainly in that case.
Because you need to be seeing, don't you, in recovery? I guess the people who find it easiest to maintain their recovery are those that start to really reap the benefits of recovery.
Yeah.
And and there must be periods in recovery where you feel as if you're plateauing and you're kind of flatlining a little bit and everything's kind of okay, but it's not better than okay.
Yeah.
And that must be quite a dangerous time as well.
It is. And that comes in line with what you mentioned earlier on about certain points in recovery. I'll come on to that in a sec. The next one that comes up quite often, that they think they're cured and therefore try social drinking again. The thought process tends to be at that point, I've done quite a while in recovery now. Perhaps I wasn't an alcoholic after all. Tell you what I'll do, I'll go and have a drink and see how that pans out. But I can tell you now, I can see how it will pan out from here, even if I don't know you.
Yeah, I mean, this is the one of all those that you're mentioning, this is the one that I hear most.
Yeah.
Actually, it tends to be people who are on the point of recognizing they've got a problem, wanting to do something about it, but imagining that they will be able to emerge the other side having a social drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're in denial about what it actually requires in order to maintain sobriety. That maintaining sobriety means exactly that. You can't have a drink. Yeah.
Yeah. Total abstinence. There isn't any other way forward apart from that. For some reason, us as addicts, we do like to just pop our finger back in the flame to see if it's going to burn again, and it always does.
Do you think that's something that's just? Do you think that's peculiar to addicts? I think perhaps there's something that's human, isn't it? It's human nature, isn't it?
I'd agree. Yeah, we're not the sole holders of that particular trait. I think a lot of people do that. Yeah, with anything. Yeah.
Yeah, we like to think that we've sorted it and we're strong enough to control it.
Yeah,
I think it's quite difficult for us actually to accept that some things are beyond our control and something more kind of more powerful within us seems to have more strength than our willpower.
You're right. I think it's a bit like, as kids, you'd fall off your bike and you'd cut your knee and you'd get a scab and you'd end up sort of just picking the scab, start picking it off, see if it's healed underneath. And it never has. It's still a little bit watery and bloody. You have to leave it.
Yeah. I find it very difficult to leave scabs.
Yeah, they are tough, aren't they? Yeah. But you know that you should leave them.
I know I should, but I'm not going to.
Yeah. Moving on, going back to that crack house one, really was the next one was staying with the same set of friends and associates. So they haven't changed who they hang around with.
Yeah.
And then people come and say that, I'm still hanging around with these people that are still using, still drinking heavily. And that naturally is going to lead them back towards a relapse.
This coming from a man who lived in the stages of his recovery with a heroin addict.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yes. I did leave at a certain stage. I was quite some time down the road. Well, I was about a yearish down the road before I lodged.
Yeah, that's not long though, is it? But the thing that struck me about that, well, two things really. One is, as you've said many times in the past, recovery is personal. So you can make sort of general suggestions to people, but they've got to find their own way. And the other thing that really struck me about that was that it seemed to strengthen your recovery, actually.
Oh, it did completely. I mean, heroin was never anything I was going to touch anyway, and I saw it up close and personal with just the horrors of it. And at the end of the day, I was there to try and help him in his recovery as well. So it was something I got value from.
But that is quite, I'm not going to say it's unique because I'm sure it isn't, but it's quite unusual, isn't it, for someone to be that early in their recovery, to be so kind of focused on a desire to help other people in theirs. I mean, I don't think that was ever going to happen was it with Jim? But
no, it wasn't, no.
But but that sort of desire to be of service to other people and to help other people out. I mean, I would imagine for most people that the ability to do that must come later in recovery for most.
Yeah, I think so. But he was a good friend, and I hated seeing him like he was. And I felt that I could be of value. So yeah, it is tough. It is a tough one. But moving on from that, there's a couple we covered last week, so I don't want to spend too much time on them, which was starting a new job and starting a new relationship. Both massive triggers. But we did have a look at those last week in quite some depth. So
and those must happen a lot, though.
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. It comes up a lot. But I don't want to spend too much time on that one. But leaving the safety of detox and rehab seems to be a trigger all on its own, which comes up. We see people come out of detox, come out of rehab when it's a bit of a residential detox where and I remember that cocooned feeling and not wanting to leave really and rejoin the real world. And so that's a big trigger. And I see that happen far too often.
Do you think, obviously when people come out of residential detox or they come out of rehab, obviously for most people, there's no necessity, it's not impressed upon them strongly enough, the importance of going to peer support. Do you think there is this kind of strong enough connection between going into peer support and leaving rehab detox?
We always try the people that come to us often are referred from the local recovery hub, and we try and get them to come just as they're waiting for their detox. So they're still drinking or reducing. They're starting to try to control it because reducing down makes detox considerably easier. And although to most of us don't ever get to reduce successfully, it is a good idea. So we like to think that people come along just as they're waiting for their detox. They can hit the ground running when they come out of detox or out of rehab. Yeah. We always try and encourage that so that it can be a smooth transition.
Yeah.
But people coming from outside of that scenario will perhaps leave it for a while and think, I will start groups at some point, and then bang, they relapse because things haven't changed.
Do you think, to what extent do you think that people avoid coming to group because of the shame they feel, and that then leads them into relapse?
Massive. Yeah. I mean, I think most of us that are in the recovery community have walked past the door of an AA meeting several times before going in initially, or just don't go at all. Because there is a shame, or you look to see. I remember at the recovery hub in Maidstone when I walked there, I was looking over my shoulder to see if there's anyone I knew would see me going in there. And I think that there's a huge amount of shame attached to it, which I've been trying over the years I've been in recovery to dispel that, because I think it is a reason that people don't embrace it properly.
You were looking over your shoulder and all you could see was Ukraine.
It was, yeah. So I was embracing that at an early stage. I think Mill Street, where it is, if you look back along towards the high street there, that is in the direction of Ukraine. So I covered all the bases early doors.
It's also in the direction of Cheeseman's from the early 1970s.
It used to be exactly that, yeah. Long gone but not forgotten, that shop. Lovely department store. And the next one was what you were touching on, a big anniversary in recovery. It seems weird, but around the 3 months, the 6 month, and the 12-month period all seem to be fairly vulnerable areas.
3 months seems odd, doesn't it? Do you think? Yeah. Do you think 3 months is because it seems like it's a reasonable body of time? I mean, I can understand a year. I mean, 6 months is a bit tricky, but a year, I get that.
Okay, well, the 3 months one tends to correspond with the end of the pink fluffy cloud we talked about earlier on.
Okay. All right.
Okay, and then you do get this flat period, this fertile void, I think we like to call it, don't we? Where you get time to reflect, have a little look back at stuff, but it's tricky, and it's not the same for everyone, not by any means. But we tend to find, and again, it's where the complacency, where the demons would tell you, it's okay, you weren't an addict after all. If you can go for 3 months, or if you can go for 6 months, you're not an alcoholic. You can forget that. Pop back to the pub. Do you think after you hit a year, do you think those time-based dangers of relapse tend to dispel? They do. To kind of disappear a little bit. They do. You just got to be aware of, and also after you've been in recovery for a year, you've covered most of those tricky periods like Christmas, like anniversaries of bereavements, and those sort of things that can come around and trip us up a little bit. So year 2 for me was considerably easier than year 1. No doubt about that at all. Which is why last week's episode was all about that magic 12 months, really.
Yeah. I mean, I've often spoken to people in therapy who've said that they relapsed because they got to 12 months and then they celebrated with whatever their particular substance of choice was.
Yes.
I thought I'd have a little line to celebrate. I mean, when you think about it, when you think about the wisdom of that, it's absolutely crazy, isn't it?
It is.
But I suppose when you're in that space, you must think, well, I've done a year, I'm cured. I'm fine now.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter what I do because I've proven to myself that I have the control to manage it.
That's it. And that's what the demon will tell you in your head. Tell you that it's okay. If worst comes to the worst, you just do another 12 months, you'll be all right. Go on, have a drink. But it always goes wrong. It never doesn't. Physical pain, that seems to be a trigger as well. So people are using the sort of anesthetic properties of drink and drugs to control what issues they have going on. That is a big issue.
Right.
It's strange because suddenly a pain can come to the fore, which you've been shielding for a long time with drink and drugs. Suddenly they come out of the equation, and pain comes back to the top of the list of issues. People drink on it again, or take drugs again because, well, it was all right then. I was able to control the pain by that. The downside of that is you have to drink more and more the whole time to receive the same level of anaesthetic from it, which has its own issues, and it will kill you eventually.
So I suppose you might have this on your list, but in the same way as having some physical pain that was previously hidden by drink or drugs, the same must be true of emotional pain if you experience an emotional pain.
That's on the list, and you're right, we can cross that off now because it dovetails in nicely what I was saying. Yeah, mental health issues that have not been dealt with properly.
Right.
And suddenly exposed, and
Or normal life events like you suffer a bereavement.
Yes.
Or a relationship breakup.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, you're under a lot of stress for some reason.
Yep.
Or there's a global pandemic. I mean, that must have caused a lot of... We know it caused a lot of relapse, don't we?
We saw that in real time, yeah.
That was funny, wasn't it, in a way, because it seemed as if the lockdowns polarised people. They either redoubled their efforts to cling on into their recovery and probably went to more groups and then there are probably people who went the other way and thought, I can't cope with this, I need to have a drink.
There were winners and losers. I think the winners were people that perhaps we know people that come to group that said, thank God for COVID. It's been fantastic. I was able to work from home.
Yeah.
So there's no stress of the commute.
Yeah.
Which helped with their recovery, or geographically, suddenly Zoom meetings were everywhere, which they weren't before.
Yeah.
People with disabilities that can't get to meetings. Suddenly there was an avenue open.
It certainly helped me because I didn't have to sit with you and do this podcast in person.
I know. We stopped doing that during COVID and have never gone back. Boredom, not filling the void left by drinking drugs, massively. People say, I got bored. And again, not putting any effort in particularly to fill that gap. So that's a problem.
I suppose it's quite difficult, isn't it? Because there's if you're in active addiction, then your addiction will absorb a lot of your time, won't it?
Almost 100% of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you take that away, I suppose one of the cornerstones of successful recovery is making sure you're able to fill your time with something meaningful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or not fill it to such an extent that it becomes stressful, but to have enough in your life that life feels enjoyable and nourishing.
It is, which is why we try and encourage either reconnection with old hobbies or starting up new ones. But again, that connection thing, connect people again, and try new things. Get involved. There's a whole world out there in sobriety that wasn't available to you beforehand. So yeah, crack on.
There's a list I've got that I use in therapy sometimes when people are kind of struggling with depression or low self-worth or whatever. And it's got a list, I think, of about 100 activities. I mean, the idea isn't that you go through there and you say, I want to do these things, but the idea is that it helps you to start stimulating your own thoughts about what is it that you enjoy?
Yeah.
Or what is it that you think you might enjoy, but you don't know? Give it a try. I mean, those are the sorts of things that they certainly help people with their mental health, but they're also the sorts of processes that are likely to cement people's recovery, isn't it? Because if you start to create a new life for yourself, a new version of yourself, then by definition, that new version is a sober version.
Yeah, it is.
That enjoys zorbing or crochet or whatever it might be.
I've tried Zorbing. I wouldn't recommend it particularly.
Yeah, I remember. I think you invited me to go, and I very wisely said I didn't want to.
You didn't want to go, yeah. But I went, and I probably wouldn't bother again.
The idea of seeing you rolling down a hill in a massive ball is hilarious. I wish I come just to watch.
Yeah, I got thrown around like a rag doll, mate. It wasn't fun. Anyway, back to what I can't. This list is quite long. I've lost my place. That's you. Which leads on to this. The next one was blaming others.
Blaming others. So how does blaming other people cause
being unsupportive?
Oh, I see.
That comes up a lot. Or,
okay.
Exes causing our growth is a real biggie as well.
Oh, so this is relapse from as a result of putting yourself in the drama triangle.
Yes.
Being a victim.
That's it.
Stop being a bloody victim. Pull yourself together.
Yeah.
As we therapists like to tell our clients.
That'd be £100, please. Yeah. Off you go. Get on with your life. Illness of other people around them. That's cropped up a lot in the past as well. Not been able to cope with a sudden illness or an ongoing long-term chronic condition of a partner.
Well, that's a lack of boundary.
Yes.
Because that's I'm going to make their pain about me, and I'm going to do something that is as destructive to me as their situation is destructive to them.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's an easy trap to fall into.
Yeah.
Unable to deal with withdrawal symptoms is a big one as well, especially amongst the opiate users, where we know how chronic those the clucking can be, or the cluck can be, and it stops people having a successful recovery because they keep going back to the withdrawal symptoms are so bad. But with alcoholics, we get post-acute withdrawal symptoms as well. PAWS, as the acronym is, and they're really nasty. And in your mind, the one thing you know what will stop the shakes and the sweats and this horrible stuff going on in your head is to pick up a drink. So it's a big drawback to your old ways of life.
So if you're struggling with withdrawal, then really the only way to address it is the same way as we've discussed with emotional pain in the past, isn't it? Which is to sit with it, sit through it. Yes. Accept it. This is horrible. This is really horrible. But if I can tolerate it, I know it's going to pass.
That's it. And you've got to remind yourself, and we spend a lot of time in groups reminding people that emotions are transient. Yeah. And it will pass, it will go. We know that from experience, everything in life is like that, isn't it? You don't stay in the same emotional rut forever. No, but I suppose if you're experiencing withdrawal symptoms, you've also got an overlay, haven't you, of the emotions that sit with those withdrawal symptoms, the sort of, oh my God, this is awful. How it's anxiety, stress, frustration, anger, sadness. So you've got all of those things. So it's like a multiplier, isn't it? So I think in those situations, it's important to recognize that you are in a tough spot. Don't try and minimize it. Don't try and say, oh, this is all right. No, it's not bloody all right. It's really not all right at all. But it will pass and it will be better than the other course of action which I could take. Yeah. Which we always advise people to pick up the phone at that point and ring someone, have a chat, take your mind away from it, use distraction therapy, get away from it all. Yeah. Another couple then, really, just to finish up. Flashbacks of bad memories. So past coming back to haunt people, trauma not dealt with effectively. Oh, post-traumatic stress. Exactly that. It's obviously, again, where drink and drugs, you take that out of the equation, and as we touched on before, your emotions are then raw. They're not being anaesthetized, and there's things, you do get these horrible flashbacks of things you've done badly in the past, or the people you've upset, big mistakes you've made, suddenly they're at the front of your mind again. So that can, and again, that picking up, having a drink or taking some drugs will alleviate that for a little while. Yeah, I imagine there's probably quite a lot of PTSD amongst the recovery community. Loads, yeah. Mm-hmm. If you'd imagine, I mean, as we talked about before, there's certain opinion where trauma is the root of every addiction. Mm. So it is some sort of trauma, yeah. Yeah. So it is very relevant. That's about it. Well, actually, for some reason, I've got boredom again on the lid at the bottom.
Perhaps you got bored.
Must have been got bored and put it on twice.
Either that or you think it's particularly important.
Well, yeah, it is. Yeah, I could say that, but it is. It's an important issue and it comes up a lot. So yeah, it's probably worthy of two entries on the list.
So boredom would have been a big factor then in people who relapsed during COVID.
Yes,
I imagine.
Yeah. There's only so much yes to the dress you can watch, isn't there? Really,
There's plenty of jigsaws to do.
There are plenty of jigsaws to do, as we talked about before. We did a whole episode on jigsaws.
You couldn't plant any seeds though because they're all out of stock, weren't they? You couldn't get seeds for love nor money.
Yeah, no,
it's an outrage. Those of us that grow stuff every year couldn't get hold of any bloody seeds.
Oh, it was all a mess, mate.
Because all of the part-time gardeners were buying them all.
Dare they get involved? And decorators. They all started doing their own decorating, trying to put me out of business. Luckily, I did mostly, but it was done badly, so we went round and sorted it all out again.
Yeah, I would never try and do my own decorating. That would be an absolute disaster.
Anyway, just to wind up the list with just a quick little quote.
Great. Gandhi?
No, it's not Gandhi. It's this. It's I don't know. There's two little quotes, both of them unattributed, but they're quite well used in the recovery circles. But first one is, "My recovery must come first, so that everything I love in life doesn't have to come last." So
nice.
Just run that through your head when there's a relapse trigger.
Hang on, just run that past me again. That one.
My recovery must come first, so that everything I love in life doesn't have to come last.
Yeah. I suppose that becomes a problem, doesn't it? If you find yourself in an emotional space where you don't feel as if you do love anything in life.
Yeah.
Which is why building your life back up around yourself when you're in recovery is so important. You know, if you are someone who's in recovery and you think, actually, there's not much in my life that I do love, that needs addressing, doesn't it? It needs changing.
It was sort of a throwaway line, mate, to be honest. You've overanalyzed it, but thanks for that.
I'm a therapist. What do you expect?
Very well done. Well, I'll see how we get on with this one then. Remember, you are not defined by your relapses, but by your decision to remain in recovery despite them.
Yeah, I'm totally on board with that one.
Yeah, I am too.
That's one in the eye for perfectionism.
Yes, it is, isn't it? Yes.
Don't try and be perfect. You ain't going to manage it. And I think the more you recognise fallibility in yourself, the more likely you are to stay sober, because you're going to accept that you're not going to do everything perfectly, and you don't have to.
No, that's right. And I think that you've analysed that one quite well. I'll let you have that. But that's about it, mate. I think that was just a fairly round list.
Very good.
I could have gone on.
Comprehensive.
Yeah, I think so. There probably were more, but I jotted down the ones. I just went through the last few meetings in my head, really, and think, oh yeah, that came up. And so I was able to compile it very quickly. Anyway, so what's on your gratitude list this week?
On my gratitude list this week is my portable shower.
Oh, hey, didn't even know you had one. What's all that about?
I've got a little. It's like I suppose it's the sort of thing that you might take camping, or I suppose there would be other uses for it. But it comprises of a canister with a pump on it.
Oh, okay.
You put water in, and then you press the little thingy, and it creates a quite a reasonable force of water through the shower head. And in the current weather, where it's been hugely muddy, it means I can wash the dogs before I get them home, so that they don't shake all the shit all over the house.
Oh, right, that's good.
And and I've often thought to myself, this is one of the best purchases I ever made, dog related, and I don't think I've ever had it on my gratitude list.
No, you haven't. No, that's a good one.
I'm very grateful for it.
I think, you could even shower yourself, couldn't you, if you wanted to, before you got home?
I could shower myself. I've never gone that far. There have been occasions where I've washed my boots off.
Yeah.
I've never actually got under it myself.
Well, do you remember at one point there was a bit of a gimmick, but I think it was Honda that had a hatchback car. You'd open up the lid, and that would produce a shower that you could stand under and shower. I can't imagine that many people have done that out in general society.
The only time I can think that would be of any use would be if you've been to the beach and you were covered in sand or salt water.
Yeah, if you're at Glastonbury.
I mean,
you're
but
at
I'm not going to be
Glastonbury.
going out in a field in 9 degrees of heat.
No, exactly.
And taking my clothes off and getting under my camping shower.
I think it didn't last long as an extra you could add on to your list when you were ordering a new Honda.
No, you're better off just go with air conditioning and your CD player. That's
all you need, mate, isn't it? Yeah. Job done. Mine is car related, actually. My one, which is on my gratitude list, which is finding free parking.
Oh,
how grateful I am when that happens! It's just lovely, isn't it? And
I find that very often.
You don't
parking these days.
No, you don't. It just I put it on my list. I jotted it down a few weeks ago. I'd been to Whitstable, and there's a place I know where I can park quite close to the town, where you don't have to pay. So it's effectively on the street. But there's everywhere you go in Whitstable, and it's the same in a lot of towns or cities. There's always, especially if you don't know it, you go into the car park. And I saw something the other day, probably on Facebook, where there was a picture of a list of charges there up here. And in London, you can pay up to £100 for a day's park, 8 hours park.
What?
For £100.
That's ridiculous.
It's awful. I know they're trying to discourage motorists going into London, but that's just crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I can see the attraction of free parking. Yeah, certainly.
It's lovely when you don't have to rush back to put a bit more time on. I think, I've got to go now because my ticket's about to run out, and you're curtailing something you really like doing. So free parking, lovely.
Yeah. How do you feel about free parking on the Monopoly board? Because I always feel that is the most boring square.
It's a terrible space, but it depends if it can give you a little bit of respite. If there's houses and hotels all around you on what your opponents have built, give you a little breather.
It's only putting off the inevitable, though, isn't it?
It is.
Don't you have to miss a go when you land on free parking?
No.
I think you do, don't you?
No. Do you? No. Do you jail? No, I don't know.
So. I think so. Otherwise, what would be the point of it?
I can't remember.
Well, go and check, will you?
I didn't check my Monopoly rules.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
I'll do that for next week. Daysoftheyear.com. Just a quick couple here. National Let's Laugh Day.
National Let's Laugh Day. Do you laugh most days, do you reckon?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
I think I do as well. So every day's National Let's Laugh Day.
Yeah.
The idea that you have to save up your laughing for 1 out of 365 days.
Not great, is it?
Well, that's not going to help your chances of avoiding relapse, is it?
No, it's not. I think it's those people that are a bit miserable, just to prompt them into getting into that frame of mind. So get someone to tell you a joke, or to tell a joke yourself, or something like that. Yeah.
So if you're feeling miserable when you're listening to this, which I don't know why you would be. Why would you ever feel miserable listening to this?
Exactly.
If you are, then go and do something amusing.
Yeah, get someone to tell you a joke. Because the oldest joke, apparently, I reckon, is about 4,000 years old. And I don't know what it was. It probably wasn't very funny, but I think we probably all know people that still tell it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And there's laughter yoga, apparently, which you can get involved in.
Yeah, we have laughter yoga down at the clinic.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you hear people having a good old cackle up?
I haven't done, but that would be off-putting if I did.
Yeah, I think you should go and get involved.
There's also some strange sort of gong goings on.
Oh, is there?
Not bong.
But good.
That I don't really understand, but it sort of put me in mind of Tibetan ringing bowls. So perhaps I should investigate that.
Yeah, get yourself down there. I haven't got a yoga mat anymore, but you can get yourself.
No. You cut it into insoles for your shoes.
I have, yeah. Otherwise, I could have lent it to you, but I've been having the benefit.
I've got one, thanks.
Have you?
Yeah.
You've got a yoga mat?
Yeah.
Have you?
Everyone's got a yoga mat, haven't they?
No, they haven't. I think you were to get down then to the laughing yoga and report back.
Oh, okay.
How about that?
Oh, as I've said before, yoga's always been one of those things that I thought I'd really benefit from, and for some reason I've never done it.
No.
So maybe I should start with laughing yoga. I'll just think about you in a Zorb. That'll do it for me.
Okay, on this day in music.
Yeah.
Just a couple of quickies. 1965.
I was born that year.
Born that year. Yeah. Well, there was
What date?
It doesn't just. It just says. Oh. Well, we know what date it is today. Whatever the date is today. 18.
Oh yeah, of course.
A donkey.
Okay. Yeah.
So on this day in 1965, there's a magazine called Tailor and Cutter. So it's for people that like suits and that suit user, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
They ran an article and they asked the Rolling Stones to wear ties,
right?
Because there was many tie makers that were facing financial ruin. And so they thought that they hoped the Stones would sort of reignite interest in them. But apparently Mick Jagger said that the trouble with ties was that they dangle in your soup. And that he left it there. I was going to try doing a Mick Jagger voice then, but I can't do one.
No, I'd probably have to have a bit of a warm up. I might be able to have a go at it. But
I thought that was quite a good retort as to why he didn't want to wear one.
Just don't eat soup.
Don't eat soup. That's it. In 2009, do you remember we talked a couple of episodes ago about someone being fined for playing Cliff Richard records at great
I do, yeah.
volume? Well, there's another one popped up. There was an 80s pop fan. She's called Justine Thompson. Now, she was fined £1,040. So quite a strange amount, that, but, it'll go with that. They probably put 40 quid on for the drink for the judge or something like that, wasn't it? Of that. And she was fined £1,040 for playing The Cure's Boys Don't Cry repeatedly at full blast, shaking the flats around her home in Brighton. Okay. Which is a bad choice. But she would sometimes switch to Gino by Dexys Midnight Runners or This Charming Man by the Smiths.
Wow.
Which I mean, I suppose all those tracks are okay, but played at full volume repeatedly, it's going to annoy you, isn't it?
Yeah, it reminds me, my son was talking the other day about how a place where his girlfriend was living at uni in second year, I think, their neighbours used to play Shotgun by George Ezra every weekend repeatedly, which is the same sort of thing. I'm not sure they were fined £1,040, but certainly my son would have been very supportive of that move.
Yes. Or similar to the chap that's playing his piano on the green in Bristol.
He got punched in the head, didn't he?
But I don't think that, that sort of behaviour, playing that loud, should elicit a fine of exactly £1,040. I'm sure there's other ways of dealing with that, don't you?
Yes, smashing your George Ezra CDs up for a start. These songs that I said, I particularly like This Charming Man by the Smiths, but I can't imagine when you hear it repeatedly, same as any song, it just becomes awful, doesn't it? Yeah, I wouldn't want to hear something over and over and over again.
And certainly Shotgun by George Ezra.
Horrible.
That would be great.
It'd be worth thinking about what, if you had to hear something over and over and over again, what would you want to listen to? That'd be interesting to think about.
It would.
I know you choose Africa by Toto, I know, but...
you do that anyway, don't you? You have it on every day.
You choose More Than a Feeling by Boston.
The Desert Island Hates, that would be, wouldn't it? Anyway, that's about it for this week, mate.
Good. All right.
We've dripped on quite long enough, I fear.
Well, enjoy the rest of your Mother's Day.
Thank you. Yes, and you.
Thanks very much. And
See you later.
See you next time.
Bye.
Laters. Sideways was created by Graham Landy and Martin Pankhurst. If you want to read more about our work or sort through the extensive archive of past episodes, just visit grahamlandywellbeing.co.uk/sideways-podcast. You can follow us on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram at Sideways Podcast, and you can email us if you have a question or if there's something you'd like us to cover. But most of all, we want to tell you how grateful we are that you come and listen, and we ask that if you've enjoyed what you've heard, that you spread the word. And we'll see you next week.